Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this Week 4 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And as always, everyone, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet here where I break down a couple of games that I like stacking up from a tournament perspective this weekend, as well as some of my favorite individual plays and stacks. But don't forget, I am running that free Discord channel as well. You can see that mentioned above, where I'll be talking about this slate even further this weekend, especially on Sunday mornings, talking about some late injury news, some players that I like late here this weekend, so make sure you join that. There's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in a pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into this cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off with a couple of game stacks that I like, starting with this game between the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really like the Houston Texans this week. You probably heard me talk about it in my first look video, my cash plays video. I like them here again as I record this on Friday night, and I really like stacking up Stroud here with Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs. No Tank Dell, he's going to be out this Sunday. If you want to go a cheaper route, you could absolutely put in Dalton Schultz here. I believe he's $4,100 at the tight end position, but I really like the top two wide receivers here. The Texans are looking to bounce back after getting beat up by the Minnesota Vikings last week, and they should do that here against the Jags. And then I like running it back here with Christian Kirk, but you could absolutely go with a cheaper route as well with Strange at the tight end position. He's $3,100. And then another game stack that I like targeting here, this one is off the charts. If you're looking for something probably a little more safe, it's going to be that game that I like between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers. You can see me highlighting Joe Burrow below. But man, I do think if we're trying to go off the chart play for the million this week, I like Caleb Williams here in the Chicago Bears and then running it back with Kyren Williams. This Rams defense is beat up right now, especially that secondary. They cannot stop any of these wide receivers they're playing against. And Caleb Williams threw the ball 50 plus times last week, scored 20 plus DraftKings points. If the Rams can get out to an early lead in this game, maybe Kyren runs for over 100 yards, scores multiple touchdowns, you could see the Bears playing catch up. So I like stacking up Williams here with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. But again, you can mix in Roma Dunze, the top two wide receivers for the Bears. Again, this is kind of an off-the-chart stack here, but if you're looking to play in the Millionaire Maker, this is one that I'll be playing. Now, folks, before we dive into some of these individual plays and stacks here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We just hit 4,000 subs on this channel, and it's growing significantly by the day, so make sure you're a part of that. With that said, let's dive into these individual plays and stacks here. We're going to kick it off at the quarterback position, just name-dropped him. I do like Joe Burrow. You know, we're talking about CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans looking to bounce back this week. The Cincinnati Bengals are one of those teams as well. They're 0-3 to start the season. They got the Carolina Panthers here this week. I really do like Zach Moss considering how bad that Panthers run defense is. But I do think Joey Burrow goes off this week as well, and I like stacking him up with Jamar Chase. Some cheaper routes, you could go with Andre Yoshivas as well. I believe he's $4,100, but Joey Burrow here, $6,600. I do like him in tournaments, and I like Baker there as an honorable mention as well. Moving over to the running backs here, I like Saquon because the running defense for the Buccaneers has not been great. Sounds like Vita V could be back, their nose tackle. He's one of the best in the game, so do keep an eye on that. But either way, I still like Barkley. He's going to see a lot of touches in this game, especially considering that Devontae Smith is now ruled out. AJ Brown came back to practice today, but limited. Not entirely sure if he's going to play. So he should see his normal work in the running game, be heavily involved in the passing game. And he's kind of floating under the radar right now, coming in around 9% ownership, something I'll keep an eye on again here this weekend and can update all of you in my Discord closer to Sunday. I like Aaron Jones here as well on the tournament side of things. He got the revenge narrative, but again, someone who's heavily involved in the passing game and this Vikings offense. He can also hit 4 or 5x value at that price. And then Najee Harris, the Indianapolis Colts have not been able to stop running backs through 3 weeks. And if Jaylen Warren misses here this weekend, I like Najee even more. And then again, talking about Zach Moss here, just a great matchup against that Carolina Panthers defense, kind of just like the Cincinnati Bengals in general here this weekend. And speaking of, I got Jamar Chase next, talked about stacking him up with Joey B, but again, Andre Yoshivas, very affordable in the low 4K range if you wanted to do a double stack there. Marvin Harrison Jr. coming in around 10%. I thought he'd be closer to 20% considering the matchup against that Commanders secondary, arguably the worst in the league. And then Allen Lazard here going up against this Broncos defense, and that secondary is good, but I'm really only worried about Pat Surtain, and he should be shadowing Garrett Wilson in this matchup, and Allen Lazard Smart is still running the number 2 routes in this Jets offense, so I like him there at $4,300, kind of a cheaper value play. He's got 3 touchdowns on the year already. Mike Evans, though, let's not sleep on him. I highlighted Jamar Chase and Marvin Harrison as 2 expensive guys, but Mike Evans, that secondary for Philadelphia has not been great to start the season either. He's always someone who can go for 30-plus DraftKings points. And then Amari Cooper, no Max Crosby for the Raiders here this weekend. Deshaun Watson has been bad. There's no way around that, but he should see close to double-digit targets in this game, should see a little less pressure considering Crosby's going to miss, so I do like Cooper there as a tournament play. Now moving on to the tight ends here, you can see I'm highlighting 2 more expensive tight ends, but I did talk about a bunch of cheaper value tight ends in my cash plays video this morning, so make sure you go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I talked about a bunch of value at the running back position in that video too, but when it comes to tournaments, I'm never afraid to spend up at the tight end position. It's usually one way that we can differentiate our lineups, and I don't think anybody's going to want to play Travis Kelce because he's been truly bad through 3 games, but I like this matchup because he's number 1, notoriously been very good against the Chargers, and number 2, the Chargers are going to be without their star safety and Derwin James, who was suspended earlier this week, and that's really the matchup I'd be concerned about for Travis Kelce. And then Dallas Goedert there, the Philadelphia Eagles, we got no Devontae Smith here this weekend. AJ Brown might come back, but likely limited. Dallas Goedert could truly see double-digit targets once again, just like he did last week, where he had 11 targets, 10 catches, and went for 30-plus DraftKings points. And then wrapping it up there with the defense position, talked about the Jets in my cash plays video as well. Love the matchup at home against a rookie in Bo Nix. Steelers got Anthony Richardson here, who has not looked great for the Indianapolis Colts. Texans playing against the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, who is not great under pressure. Texans should bring that this weekend. And then the Vikings just continue to ball out against some stud teams, the 49ers now and the Houston Texans. I know they're going on the road here in a tough environment at Lambeau, but I do like them in tournaments as well at $2,900. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this week 4 main slate.